On today's episode of the Ungrowth Show, we talk about the right way and the wrong way of going about innovating your products or services. Trust me, it's not just writing a blank check. Be sure to check it out. All right, Mike, we've spent so much time in some of our conversations together where we talk about companies that are established that just refuse to innovate.
Yeah.
Right. And
scared, don't want to, something, right?
Yeah, and
or some reason not to do it.
Yeah, for whatever they don't want to, and it comes back to bite them. Their competition catches up with them. They lose market share. Sometimes it's hard for them to dig out of it. Sometimes they have to change direction completely.
Yeah.
But then there are other companies who make an effort and go all in on innovation, and it doesn't quite work out the way they intended.
Yeah.
And so there are two sides to that story.
Well, I think there's another side too of some companies go so far into innovation that they lose complete focus because that's all they're doing is innovating, and they just lose their way.
Yeah, and I think that's what we want to get into today is to talk about how can we, because innovation by its very nature can be a risk. It's a necessary risk.
For sure.
How do you mitigate it? How do you go about it? Perhaps doing it the right way, a smarter way. Okay, so let's dig into it. So as Braden, we always give Braden a hard time because he prepares all of our research right here. And he didn't put any puns in this one. I'm surprised. Maybe he just felt this was a sad story.
Lazy. Yeah, I don't know.
He needs to get ChatGPT to put some more jokes
do better.
in there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, we love Braden.
So we're going to talk today about Ford.
Okay.
Ford. Everybody knows Ford. Iconic. America was built around Ford. It was George Washington, Abe Lincoln, and Ford. I think that's how it went.
That's the way I remember it. It's how they taught me back in school days. Yeah.
So everybody knows Ford, leading automaker, and has always been known for innovating.
Oh, yeah.
Right, even back from its very roots.
Yeah.
Henry Ford, big innovation. Go.
Manufacturing.
Yeah, but what about manufacturing? Come on, third grade, go.
Third grade. What about innovation?
What about manufacturing? His big innovation was the assembly line. Assembly line, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry Ford. Woo, we got it. So when we go back, innovation has always been in Ford's DNA.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a company that is kind of locked in or stoic, some companies it is an inertial push. You can't get there. It's a hard time to get there. Other folks, it's just in their DNA, and they're always running.
And it's in Ford's DNA.
It's in Ford's DNA, so you can't fault them. So they've been at the forefront of automotive design and production for over a century, right? So now, as we get into this summary, in the mid-2010s, the automotive industry was rapidly evolving with the advent of
Everything's going digital.
Digital technologies coming in.
How do we make digital a part of what we do around here?
Right, and they rightly recognize this. Digital, this is a thing.
Yeah.
We make cars. How can we, this has got to be in our cars now, right? So consumer expectations were shifting as well, too, right? So digital has usually been perceived as smaller, faster, better, more convenient a lot of times in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And so how can we integrate that into our vehicles? So
we're techies, and I remember those times I wanted a car with some tech in it. I just wanted to see what was possible and what they could do. But I welcomed it. I wanted it.
Yeah. So. Now I want nothing more than a car that is completely disconnected from the grid, wrapped in aluminum foil that cannot be tracked in any way.
Well, you have those options. You can still do that.
That runs off vegetable oil. That's what I want.
I've seen it.
So traditional automakers faced immense pressure to innovate and integrate digital solutions to stay competitive, and they saw a surge in efforts to develop connected cars and smart vehicles.
So knowing Braden, something went terribly wrong here. So
right,
let's see.
I'm going to see Ungrowth here somewhere.
It's going to peak its ugly head. Yeah.
Well, there was a growing emphasis on mobile solutions. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Cars, mobile.
Hands-free,
All right. So that's the setup.
All righty.
That's the setup. Now, what has happened? Then the story took a turn. To embrace the digital age in 2014 with an ambitious new venture, Ford started the Ford Smart Mobility Initiative.
Fancy name. I like it.
It was fancy.
Yeah, Ford Smart.
Ford Smart. Hey, they're starting off well. It's a good name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, why not? No problem there. So at least they got that. They checked that box. So the goal was clear: to develop digitally enabled vehicles and innovative mobility solutions to lead the industry into the future. But the execution is where things probably go a little haywire. Yeah. It seems like they've got the setup down here. They're innovating. They're starting Ford Smart Mobility Solutions. They're seeing an industry going in a particular way.
Looks good on paper.
Right.
Yeah.
This is all we've ever talked about.
This is a slam dunk win. Yeah.
They got it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that all the research has been done on this one yet.
I don't know. Execution. Right. It's going to be in the details. Watch.
So Ford Smart Mobility was established as a separate entity. Okay. Maybe
go.
highlight
Yeah,
that. Maybe that's a pause.
So
headquartered away from the core operations of the company. Okay.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that
All right. Let's innovate and let's let a brand new thing that's going to change everything, and let's put it way over there and disconnected from everything else.
We just don't interrupt what we're doing over here. But maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun to point
words
fingers and poke. Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
we can put words in their mouth too. I'm assuming
exactly.
they did it in that kind of condescending
Yeah,
fashion.
they're laughing and like
We're
watch this.
We're going to be in the fancy office. You go over there, Ford Smart Mobility.
I'm sure. Yeah, Ford Smart Mobility. Yeah, it was probably a really nice tower and all the new stuff. I'm sure. Yeah.
But I'm sure the physical was probably just the physical separation was probably just indicative of a larger siloed approach as well. I'm imagining.
I'm picturing it as a silo. The building itself, I think it was just that was the design.
Little known fact: first Ford manufacturing plant in a silo.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea. I just
thought.
Yeah. Braden didn't look it up, and so it's probably true-ish.
Well, if you say it true on YouTube, it's true.
So the separation created significant challenges. The new segment it was completely isolated, lacking integration with Ford's existing business units. Okay, here comes the pun. It says like Ford had built a shiny new car, but left it in the garage. Okay, all right, that's fancy. So let's talk about that. So we see this sometimes in M&A, where the acquisition doesn't get fully acclimated or integrated into the home base. Let's just say, and in this one, Ford did this deliberately. What do you think? Maybe if we assuming best intentions.
Okay.
What are some possible reasons why Ford would have wanted to spin this up, separate them, and create an entirely separate business operation from them?
I just have to speculate. I mean, I think maybe they thought by investing in it separately, keeping them over there, maybe they would be able to come up with new and better, innovative ways, and they wouldn't be quote unquote polluted by the way we've always done things. So you go over there and you create the future of Ford and the future of where we need to head in this whole digital world. But I don't want you to get caught up in, well, we've never done it like that before. Maybe, because we do hear that from customers. Like, this is the way we've always done it. Like, but the point of a digital transformation is to get you to a different spot so that you're future-proof, because the way you've always done it's either tailing behind, you're losing the competition, something here has to change, and people don't like change. So maybe it was a way to get them to put the blinders on over there on purpose, and then they don't have to deal with change at that moment, right?
So, and when we assume that, the generous expectation, again, we're seeing Ford doing a lot of things rationally and logically, and they make a lot of sense.
Investing money, forward thinking, they were diving right into the digital age at that moment, and so all good things.
We've got to think of something new.
Yeah.
And go over there and don't be encumbered by us.
Just lead the way.
Lead the way. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And did they go over there with a shoestring budget?
No, they invested lots and lots of money.
Yeah,
to the detriment of Ford.
Very good. So the substantial investments poured into Ford Smart Mobility began to strain other areas of the company. So they poured buckets of money into Ford Smart. Okay, so here we go. They're setting it up. They're realizing they have to innovate. They don't want them to be, they want them to think new, smart,
Yeah.
mobile. We're going to fund you. They gave them the resources. It's not like they hamstrung them for resources.
Blank check. Let's
Right.
Go do it.
So go do it. So what we know, we're looking forward here, but if you think about that logical conclusion, you're putting so much effort into a new innovation.
Yeah.
What are some of the possible outcomes?
So like
of
this one today still exists in many, many ways because anyone maybe could look at this now and go, well, disconnecting this new innovation team from everything else, okay, pretty easy for people to get there. That's a bad thing to do. But then we say this part where every innovation is going to include some risk, but it's also going to cost money. And what we're saying is pouring a bunch of money into this. We can see now, look what it did. But there are lots and lots of companies today who are very reluctant to pour any money, a dollar, into innovation because they don't know. They're so focused on ROI. That's what is going to be our return on investment in some of these innovative things that we're trying. Hard to say. You want to try to do that the best you can, but the answer isn't stop innovating. The answer isn't turn a blind eye to what's going on with AI and everything else. It's about doing it in a way that's responsible, and you got to put some money, some effort, some time into the innovation. And no, it's easy to say, but it's I just see too many companies that are just letting competition pass them by because they are unwilling to invest any money into that. So, I mean, I don't fault Ford in this one to maybe when it got to a point, the powers that be thought, well, we've already gone this far. The whole too big to fail concept comes to mind. It's like, just keep pouring money in because eventually it's going to pay off. And it kind of did. I mean, they didn't come out of that with the best technology, but it was a good start.
So, well, if we look, that amount of investment that they kept pouring in to this new innovation, it surfaced in quality issues with their existing traditional vehicle lineup.
Yeah, they took their eye off the ball. This is, if you have a team that's creating product and service that has been the core of your existence for a number of years, to take your eye off the quality of that, it's going to impact you in a very negative way, probably short term, but even it's going to, especially with vehicles, they're going to be in the market for a number of years. That's where recalls and all this other stuff comes from, or tragic accidents or safety issues come because you're so focused in this other area that's not your core. This isn't what pays the bills and puts the bread on the table. This does, and they just took their eye off the ball there, and they put the money somewhere else and hoped it would work out. So,
okay, so
not what we'd recommend.
Yeah, so as we move forward, and we'll talk about how this ended up, and then kind of circle back around to lessons learned and whatnot.
Heads rolled.
So by 2017, the mismanaged innovations and transformation were undeniable, and Ford CEO Mark Field stepped down as the company grappled with a declining stock price and internal discord. The ambitious project, meant to catapult Ford into a new era, instead highlighted the critical need for cohesive and integrated strategies in digital transformation efforts. So, we talked about that. The mindset was probably right, doing things for right reasons.
For sure.
Yeah, so good intentions, but bungled into the point where the CEO steps down.
Yeah, I think I don't know this person personally, of course, but I admire actually the forward-thinking, innovative thinking of a CEO that would take this sort of risk. And of course, you look back and say, okay, well, being disconnected and a lot of investments that were starting to strain the company, and you got the quality issues, that he took the hit. But he didn't do this on his own. I mean, there were teams of people that were responsible for the success of all these things. But as a leader, you take the hit, and he did. And I'm not sure what he's doing today. Maybe somebody will research or fact check that, but he's probably doing all right.
All right, so when it comes time to innovation, and we might have this huge picture of things like we're doing a new product or service, and we want all of these things. It's a big, expansive thing. Is it better to do one or two things great than to do all of them mediocre?
Oh yeah, of course you want to be great. I mean, but it doesn't mean you have to do one thing at a time either. If you have the time, the resources, the budget. I mean, but I think what you really have to do is focus in on the ones that you believe you can sell. How do you with market research, proper market research, because a lot of innovation can be pretty awesome, especially in the way of technology. I mean, you can really geek out, tech out on things. But if you pick 5 or 6 things that the market doesn't really want, but they're cool, and you invested a bunch of time and money, and you end up with 3 pretty mediocre things, okay, well, it could be you just wasted a lot of time and effort and money, and you didn't hit the bottom line, you didn't raise revenue, nothing changed really. Actually, may have gotten worse. Also, if nobody really wants it, and they're all mediocre, then you're going to have unsatisfied customers, and especially now, I mean, that's going to travel around the world pretty quick on social media, right? So, yeah, I would focus absolutely on things that people really want. You can really make a great impact. It improves your product or service, and just double down on one if that's all you can do to make it great versus spending out stuff for the sake of stuff.
And I think for our kind of final point here, I think this might be the one that most people would gravitate toward, because obviously any type of innovation does take a financial investment, right? So how can we go about making sure that we adequately fund our innovation teams and initiatives, but not to the detriment of our existing business operation?
I mean, just with blocking and tackling. I mean, it's really getting back to the basics of things like budgets. I understand that no one has all the money in the world to do all these things. Not many. So with an organization we would work with, saying, okay, on the innovation side, you got to put an eye towards innovation, even if it's just an investment. Could be people's time that allow your employees, those who are interested, to participate in innovation meetings even. I mean, that's taking some of their valuable time, but it has to be well organized, and so you're not wasting time or money, is that you need a plan for it. You need criteria, like which of these ideas as you're brainstorming actually make it to the top. How do we do proper research? And then when we finally get a winner that we all are excited about and we all believe in, what's that forecast look like? I mean, what is the potential of ROI? How do we get the right people? Because many companies that want to be innovative don't have the talent to do all the things. So that's where you need trusted advisors and partners. And these are just the things that we try to walk people through to help them, so they're not wasting money on innovation. Because that is something you can burn through a lot of people and cash and resources in a short amount of time and have nothing to show for it. We want to help people avoid that.
So you have to be smart about it. I don't know if there's a magic number, or this is a percentage of our revenue that's going to go to innovation, or of our overall budget.
You can, yeah. I mean, that's part of the budget. Like people use that for like marketing. If you're a certain, a certain percentage of revenue should be allocated to a marketing budget or a training budget or something. But absolutely, you could do that. You can say a certain percentage of our revenue is always going to be bottom lined into the innovation team, and that's what we're going to do. So a lot of companies do that, and it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So if we go back to the top of this one, we can see a lot of positives, and we can see a lot of the thought process of trying to stay ahead of the competitors, trying to see where the market is going, and they were right about a lot of that. And so we want to make sure that as we go about, as we try to, digital transform is almost kind of an overused term anymore.
We like to say digital evolution because digital transformation sounds like a one-time thing, which it is. So you need a digital evolution. If you're in a constant state of evolving, and innovation plays a big part of that.
Yeah, so we want to do these things smartly. We don't want to do them in silos. We want to communicate. We want to consider our people, our processes, and our technology. We look at all of these things always in every initiative that we do, because everything always impacts our people. So we want to do these things smartly. We want to make sure that we're not just shooting the moon from our finances. It doesn't have to cost you your entire company, or your career, to innovate. But do things smartly. And if we need some help, I know you had mentioned at one point that we have kind of an innovation as a service team. I want to say we. I mean, TrellisPoint. You want to talk to us a little about that and how we would, how somebody who's interested in setting that up for themselves, how we might suggest that they get started with that.
Yeah, I mean, with us, it always starts with a discovery call to really understand. We care about your business why, so we want to understand why you would engage with us or anyone else, what industry you're in, what are your business outcomes and objectives, and then we do lots of things there. But the part for innovation is really almost like a skill gap analysis, like where are they lacking on the visionary side, where we can come in and say, okay, for you and your industry. We could do research and we could come up with the ideas of saying, well, here's the way your competitors are innovating. And if you're doing none of those, you should probably start there and look at some of this stuff. But just going all the way through all the components of what innovation takes, from development to leadership and if you have a lot of those folks on staff, then we can create a little team and then they can start there and then we can fill the gaps for them. Where they do not have that unique set of skills that's needed to kind of drive innovation and growth. So, I mean, it all starts with that first engagement. We help think through, brainstorm with them, create plans, and then we help implement if they need us to.
Yeah. Well, Mike, enjoyed it. Again, we want to hear about your successful or unsuccessful innovation experiences. Be sure to like, share, comment. Let us know what you think. If you have any suggestions for upcoming episodes, put them in the comments as well. We look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode.